Hi again, everybody. Merril Hoge here in front of the big screen, doing a little football IQ, helping fans maybe understand terminology that they hear, but they may not quite understand. And here's a couple things we wanted to discuss today. If you hear that was a zone run, or it's a man run, or if you even hear it's a counter run, what does that mean? Well, we're going to try to help you explain and understand when you hear, oh, that was a zone run, rather it's strong side or weak side. How do you look for that and how do you identify that? So let's start with that first, and then we'll get to the man blocking schemes as well. So a zone blocking run or a zone run, this ends up being a strong side run. And how do you know what a strong side run is? Oftentimes, it's where the tight end lines up. So let's find that out. Right now the tight end's here, but he goes to the other side. So now the strength of the formation is actually over here. The Steelers are going to run a zone stretch play to that side. How do you know it's a zone stretch play? Here's the things you look for. First, they try to get flow up the defense. You know, they're trying to get the defense to flow with them and get them moving. But on the backside, notice the tackle. He's going to come off right off the bat and try to cut off one of the defenders, because if they get this guy down and they get stretched this way, then hopefully there'll be a running lane there for the back. That's what they're ultimately, or this zone stretch is supposed to do. So when you start the play, you can see you get the backside cut off here. That's happening, and you start watching guys working together. You know, Pouncey doing a good job here working together with your guard. They're trying to get flow, and you know the back here, he's stretching it, looking for a running lane. Now he eventually gets the running lane, and he gets 5 yards. And 5 yards in the NFL, that's a big deal. That's a good run. Anybody gets 5 yards, that's a productive, good run in the NFL. It's not easy. From the end zone, I think you get a better feel for not only the tackle, but notice Pouncey. See, he's really not going to block anybody. They're all working together. He's blocking an area. If this guy jumped inside, he'd take him, and then the guard would come up to here. So they're kind of working all together. The tackle here, he's come right off the ball, trying to cut this backside defender, letting the back stretch and look for a run. Here, everybody's kind of working together based on an area that people might show up in. So they do a good job of working together. It's a stretch play, a zone blocking scheme, and that's really what they're trying to do in a zone running scheme. When you hear it's a zone run or a stretch play, that's how they're blocking it, and that's the terms that they use for it. Okay, we looked at a zone running play where offensive linemen are getting the defense to flow. They're kind of working together, blocking areas, not specific guys. So other ways to run the ball are man blocking schemes. You'll hear a counter, and when a counter is a man blocking scheme, and oftentimes when you hear counter, somebody is pulling. One of the offensive linemen are pulling. And here's a good example of a man blocking scheme, and I'll show you what the differences are. You know, as you snap the ball, the first thing that your eye might recognize is that this offensive line is pulling. Okay, so he is now going to be specifically attacking somebody. And then it comes what we call the point of attack. These two guys are working together, and it's really called a double team. So these two guys are working on one. You got a single block here, and this guard who's pulling is going to eventually do what I call a dig out block. So this is more of a man blocking scheme where guys are assigned to certain defenders, and they got to get them blocked. Once that happens, especially you get movement like they do, you get another big chunk of runs. It's a different way to run the football. It's a man blocking scheme, not a zone blocking scheme, and from the end zone, you'll see it. Here's your double team right here. Okay, you got a single block here, and here comes your guard. DeCastro's pulling. Now he's looking for guys, and the back sets over. So he gives a little counter before he heads down. That allows all the timing to get set up, but you have guys specifically assigned to guys. They're not working together in an area. They're supposed to block certain guys based on how the defense is lined up. And they do a great job here. DeCastro getting a dig out there, doubles there. Now you get to an idea of what really a man blocking scheme is about versus a zone blocking scheme. So when you hear zone blocking scheme, you can know offensive linemen are working together. They're trying to stretch the defense. Man blocking schemes, oftentimes there can be a guy who's pulling, and they are assigned to certain defenders, and they know who they're supposed to block.